That's right. It's Bad Weather Fans, episode number 52 with Mike and Alex. Last night we were talking a little Nets. We had Evan Roberts on from WFAN. And tonight, Alex, well, we are going to...
Even the playing field.
Yeah, even the playing field. Go on, so have a Knicks side of things with a guest. And Alex, I'm excited to have Lee on here because him and I have gone back and forth on Twitter. And I can tell he's funny and he's jabbing me and he's joking and he's doing a good job getting under my skin. I feel like there's probably been a couple of times I had a tweet ready and then I was like, I should probably delete this. I won't be mean about the Knicks. So, Alex, good to see you again. And Lee, nice to meet you via Zoom. What's going on, y'all?
What's up, Lee? How's it going?
Doing all right, man. Doing good. Thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be on the show, man. I've watched you guys from the start, so congratulations on the success and making it to 52. You guys are doing a great job, man, representing both teams in the city, and it's a good time to be a fan of both teams, that's for sure.
It is. Surprisingly, it's a good time to be a fan of the Knicks. We weren't expecting that. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere, but
well,
you helps us.
You may not have been expecting it, but I was kind of...
You were expecting this? I don't know if you were expecting this. Yeah.
I will say this, and I'm on the record on this podcast of saying I think the Knicks are going to be better than everybody's expecting. I was on the record of saying that. I did say it. I looked at the roster, unlike Alex, and thought, I think there's some talent here. So I did call that. Now, to be completely honest, I say that every year out of fear that the Knicks might actually be good, but I did call it and I did say it.
You don't want to come across as a hater.
Yeah, we'll give you your props for that. And I'm sorry that you guys had a fantastic guest for the second time last night. You had Evan Roberts, and then you went down the ladder, and you're like, let's give somebody else a chance. Let's bring the ship down a little bit.
We had to even the playing field and get another Knicks fan on, because it's always like we're getting all these Nets fans on, and Dolan J. Trump is a Knicks fan, but he's got the Nets roots. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the real Knicks fan from New York, the whole thing. Right. So, we had to get that going.
I have to actually I have something that I have to say.
Oh, God.
My ex-wife and they were Nets fans. So we have kids and they grew up Nets fans, and I used to go to Nets games, and I saw like the championship runs with the, so.
All right.
No one's perfect. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's backtrack all of that first.
But now I hate them, by the way.
Okay. See, there's so much here. I mean, I could do 4 hours on that comment. Okay. So let's start with this. How did you become a fan of the basketball team in the borough of Manhattan?
I grew up in the city, and that was just all there was. And, just watching all the great games on Channel 9 back when I was a kid, and, seeing all the greats play for the Knicks and the great 90s teams. So it was just, if you're from New York, you root for everything New York, and that's the Knicks.
And then, all right. And then so then from there, you just said you went to Net games, right?
Yeah, because
but now you hate
out of obligation.
So when, this is okay. And you were doing your thing. When you went to those games, did you hate those Nets?
No, they were. It was exciting at the time. They had Jason Kidd. They had, I was a Stephon Marbury fan, like from high school and college, and followed him and that whole thing. Right. So when he went to the Nets is really when I started watching. And then they traded him for Jason Kidd and the whole thing. And, those teams were exciting. And I liked Kenyon Martin at Cincinnati. Was upset that he went to the Nets. But, so just watching those teams, they were exciting. But again, it was like Alex said, it was out of obligation.
But like if you went to see the Nets versus the Hawks and it was a Tuesday night, and, I was there and you were there and 708 other people were there, you weren't like actively rooting against the Nets to go down to the Atlanta Hawks. You weren't like, oh, hey, here comes Steve Smith and crew coming into town. I got to make sure they defeat the Nets. It wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. But I really wasn't paying too much attention. I was probably checking the Knicks scores.
A lot harder to do back then. It took skill to check scores back then.
But now,
they have it on the jumbotron, and I'm checking it.
That's a funny point, because you would see it scroll across, and you'd have to wait, and you'd be like, it's been the same score for the last 10 minutes. Can they
Must be halftime. Yeah.
But now you hate the Nets, right?
I don't hate the Nets. It's good. I have friends who are Nets fans, and it's good for them to finally celebrate something, and it's cool for them. What I don't like is that that Nets fans are trying to one up Knicks fans. Like it's the same thing, little brother syndrome, right? Like they want to be so much better and they want to be seen.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, you're good, but whatever. It's not a big deal.
So there's an arrogance and there's a little bit of uncomfortability seeing that the little brother is having a growth spurt. It's annoying.
I don't even pay attention to the Nets, to be honest, and it's just
yeah, you do. Fans. Yeah, we do.
No, it's worse now because of the fans, right? It's almost like Kevin Durant and Clay and Steph, they were great, right? So I'm not a Warriors fan, so it's just whatever, and it's the same thing with the Nets. You're not really worried about it.
Yeah, we had Evan on, and like you said, he got upset with me because last week I called him the Big Three mercenaries, and he got upset with that, so he wanted to come on and talk about it. And he's like, I'm not mad, but he looked pretty mad. So it's just kind of like
his response was he was agitated by it for sure.
Yeah, it was all in fun. Yeah, it was all fun. He was fun, but it's just funny. But we can't act like we don't care. And like, you know what I mean? Like I know you say you don't, but you can't be like we don't care at all, because we didn't care at all when they were in Jersey. That's legit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I really didn't care.
Well, see, that's where this all stems from, Alex. And this is where I'll make the point is you didn't care then. They were from Jersey. They were cute. So I think if I can get inside the brain of a Knicks fan, I'm gonna put my orange and blue hat on here, figuratively, not literally. Like, it's gotta be tough and strange to see the Nets gaining popularity. And I'm not saying they're the Knicks, and I'm not saying they're going to be as big as the Knicks, but I do think there is some Knicks fans that are annoyed and seeing the Nets gaining momentum in the tri-state area.
No. It's not. I don't, because you can't, you haven't won anything. You guys haven't won a championship. No championships in the history of the franchise. You guys have, and we've seen the Nets go to a couple of finals series, right, and lose, of course. So until you win something, you guys are not really relevant.
So you think if the Nets were to win a championship, they would be relevant in New York? Because I think they have a chance this year, in my opinion.
I think there's been a lot of bandwagon fans and people jumping ship from the Knicks, right. But as long as the Knicks continue to win, what the Nets do will not matter.
On the bandwagon side of things, I think it's interesting because throughout sports history, that's how teams get popular. And I think maybe this is happening, but we're living in the moment where the Nets are starting to get popular and become a popular team. I'm not saying they're going to be the Knicks. I'm not saying they're going to be as popular as the Knicks. I know they're there. I'm not going to discredit that. I believe in that. I know they exist, and I know they're a very proud fan base of their team. But I do think we're in a moment where there are bandwagon fans coming, and then in 5, 10, 15 years, those are the Net fans. And this is the development stage of the Nets fandom, which could not exist 15, 20 years ago when it was Kerry Kittles throwing passes to Lucius Harris in the corner for threes. That wasn't going to happen. So I think we're in a moment when you've got guys that are top 6 in the league all playing together. I guess Kyrie's maybe 10th, but when you got that level of player all together, I think you're in a moment where you're seeing them build momentum.
For sure. For me, sorry to cut you off, Lee, but for me, it's like I said 2 episodes ago, where it's kind of like if the Nets keep these guys, and even not even if they keep these guys, once these guys are gone, then if they're still popular and they go back to being a regular team, then you can say that they've really arrived. Because right now, you got kids in the younger generations. You have kids, Lee, like they're all fans of particular players, and they follow them around the NBA. We're old. We like teams. Like, what is that?
Yeah. I know. That is irritating. That is very strange when somebody's like, yeah, I'm a fan of this team based on a player. And there's more of that in basketball than there are in the other sports, because it's a star-driven league. But I don't know the other teams you root for, Lee, but I imagine it's it's based on your roots in New York and the love that you have for the teams in the area.
Giants, Yankees. I'm just guessing.
No, that's another thing.
Jets,
Alex
right?
and I
the
share.
Jets fan.
We share Jets.
Yeah, I knew that.
We share the Jets, and I watched the Mets in the '80s, right? Because they were the better team in the '80s. So I watched them, but I grew up a Yankees fan. Grew up right around the stadium and went to games every week and stuff like that. So I'm a Yankees fan, but I follow the Mets.
So we are exact opposites in every team.
You're a Mets fan and a Giants fan?
Mets, Giants, Nets. Yep.
Jesus.
And
it's so random that you're a Giants fan, though. That's like a real
me?
like random thing. Yeah, it's just random having Mets, Nets, and then Giants. I don't know, because it's usually Mets,
Jets, Nets.
Nets.
I just like to root
Knicks,
for I root for the more sophisticated fan base teams typically, but that's just how I am. I can't, I don't want to speak for the Jets or whatever, but that's just
right.
That's just how it goes on my end.
No, it's funny, Lee. I can't believe I forgot that you were a Jets fan for a second, because your YouTube videos on your YouTube page are hilarious. We have the Sam Darnold quotes and the things like that, because you do your comedy and like you mix it in with your YouTube videos. It's so funny.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I wanted to say that you were saying, Alex, you were saying like 5-10 years down the road, but we don't even know if these guys are going to be here in the next 2 years.
Right.
So that's why where does that team go from there?
Yeah, no, I understand. After 2 championships, that's a good question. We'll find out. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know, but it's fair.
Who cares though? Would you even care in 5-10 years if you get the next 2 titles?
Championships right now? No, I wouldn't care. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest. If the Nets win this year and next year and win the titles, Kevin Durant. I mean, I would even allow that 3 to go to the Knicks, and I'd have to be okay with it.
I don't know about that.
What else
I don't know if you'd be okay with that.
2 championships. Alex, I got excited when they lost to the Sixers in 5 and won a game. What would 2 championships?
But like Jason Kidd playing for the Knicks, that didn't upset you? I mean,
it irritated me, but it was at the very end of his career. He was still a very good leader, and he clearly helped that Knicks team out and had when that Knicks team was a very, very good Knicks team. He was a shell of himself. He wasn't the MVP level player.
But he changed that team, though.
But if it irritated me, of course. But I don't. I like to me, I have Jason Kidd. I have like 3 different guys. Like there's Jason Kidd, the Nets coach, which sucks. Jason Kidd, the Nets player that's revitalized the franchise. So it's just you kind of just can separate it. And then I can look at Kidd on the Knicks and Kidd on the Mavs late in his career, and he was just a veteran that was come in place that really helped the Knicks culture that year, Alex.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he did, and I still don't. I'll never forget in the beginning of that season when Jason Kidd had the 4-point play against the Nets, and it wasn't even like a real 4-point play. Just stuck his leg all the way out, to catch a guy flying by.
That was a great play, and James Harden has perfected that play today.
And Emmanuel Quickly, that's for sure too. Him too.
Quickly,
he gets all the 4-point plays. It's insane. I don't understand how he does it.
He had 2 in the same game the other day, right?
Yeah. I'll hear my
dude is incredible, man.
Yeah.
Are the Knicks your number 1 league for all your teams?
I would say the Jets are.
The Jets are.
They only play 16 times a year. The lead up to the draft is so exciting. So it's like 4 hours every Sunday, and it's
right.
The anxiety you get leading up to it, and then the depression that you have to wait another week for them to lose again is too much for me to take.
That's a good way to put it. It's been hard the last couple of years. I mean, we had the 1 year that they were good, decent, and then they blew it in week 17 and what was it, 15, right? And it's just like it's just been a joke. Sorry.
All right, well, here's a topic that's very original that hasn't been discussed on Sports Talk Radio about the Jets. Do you think they should trade for Deshaun Watson and give up multitude of draft picks, first rounders?
I think that Joe Douglas is smart enough to make a good deal. So I'm a Sam Darnold guy, right? So I'm kind of against letting him go, with the exception being that if they can get Deshaun Watson, you have to get a top 5 quarterback at age 25. My problem is then what do you put around him? Because, Pat Mahomes with a Jets offensive line and no receivers is,
Super Bowl Pat Mahomes, what he was in the Super Bowl. It's exactly what he was.
Yeah. But if you put nothing around him, you know what I'm saying? You see what happens. I mean, look, Tom Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, lost 2 Super Bowls because he was under pressure by the Giants' defensive line. So, but I think Joe Douglas can pull it off and still build a good team.
I just think this is not at you because I don't think you're overly confident in him. I think you're just like optimistic. The fact that everybody's so confident in Joe Douglas makes me a little uncomfortable because this team was 7-9 and then they went, right. They should have been 0-16. It's like, and you took over. That was your first offseason. So your team took a giant, downward trajectory. I can't think of the terms. So it's just, to me, it's like, why are we so confident in this guy? Like, yeah, the Jamal Adams trade was great, but he's a great player in his prime. So you got, a lot more than you should have for safety, for sure. But it's just like, for me at this point, man, I'm going to be a little disappointed if we have to go through the same old, we got a rookie quarterback. Okay, now we got to wait 3 years. And I don't know if he's good or not. Is he good? I don't know. Let's see what happens. We got to give him time. And Rob Salah is obviously the greatest coach ever. And now, it's the same crap over and over. I feel like Joe Beningo, like it's just the same thing. And in 4 years, 5 years, we're going to do this all over again. It's just
all over again. Yeah.
Go get Deshaun Watson and don't tell me let me ask you the question. Gun to your head, do you trade a defensive tackle and Sam Darnold in the deal for Deshaun Watson if you had to?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
the people are like, I can't trade him. Get Quinn Williams. I love him, but come on, dude.
Yeah, we've drafted 17 in the last 18 years. We've drafted 17 defensive tackles.
Right.
You can find a Sheldon Richardson anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Muhammad Wilkerson.
But
Leonard
this
Williams,
kid,
boy.
who's the new kid? He's got 3 names. I forget what his name is, but he was playing really well. He came out of nowhere. Number 91, Franklin Myers or whatever. He played really well. He played really well. So
It's amazing to me that people aren't on with the idea to trade for a 25-year-old franchise quarterback who's proven that he's a top, you get into the minutia of it, 5 to 6, whatever, 7 player in the league, with the fear of, well, if we trade for him, we're going to lose all these assets to build around the guy. Get the foundation and go from there. This is somebody that's a changing kind of player. And then you dealt Jamal Adams to get these draft picks, right? So if somebody said, would you trade Jamal Adams and 2 firsts for Deshaun Watson? What would you say? I mean, it would be obvious.
Of course.
You would do it. So why is it? It just amazes me that if it's assets, right? If it's draft picks, people get all protective about it. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I can't change that. But if it's the actual player, oh yeah, sure, you could trade him. He's a good safety, but we know what he is. Well, what do you expect those draft picks to be? Everybody's like, if they were Jamal Adams, you'd be happy. It blows my mind that people are so excited about these draft picks.
Right. I kind of understand though, because Deshaun Watson went 6-10, 4-12 last year, and he's a top 5 quarterback. So we have a worse. Exactly. That's the other thing too, is that I don't understand why people are either down on Joe Douglas or Sam Darnold when you just can't excuse the fact that we all knew collectively, every Jets fan knew that Adam Gase is not the guy.
Right.
So you kind of got to give these guys a break for that alone. But if you can get Deshaun Watson, but I understand the argument why people don't want it to happen. And also you have these guys under control for a number of years, and it's good to have it's good to have a good feeling of guys who started with the organization which you drafted. It just shows like competency, and you become a fan of those guys who've been with your team from the beginning.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the mercenary thing, right? That's where we're going to go.
Yeah. I would like the Jets less if they went out and got Kevin Durant and James Harden to play for them.
Right, because because if the Jets were able to go out and make a deal to get Patrick Mahomes, DeAndre Hopkins,
they're not our own. We don't want
them. They added Khalil Mack. Yeah, that would suck. So we didn't.
Screw it. Man.
I mean, that is the biggest.
Not a real team.
That is the biggest crock of shit that I'm hearing now. I brought this up with Evan yesterday. This whole concept and idea of, well, they aren't the real Nets. Well, what were the real Nets to Knicks fans sucked, and that's the problem. These are the new version of the real Nets, and it's annoying and it's irritating because these real Nets are actually good.
I want to see Spencer Dinwiddie and Jared Allen win a championship with the Nets. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
I told Mike, bring back Plumlee. Bring him back too.
I would have loved to have seen them win a championship, but I mean, they're just. I mean, if Spencer could come back and is healthy, he's still technically on this roster. Maybe he'll get dealt at the deadline, which would be fascinating. But yeah, I'd love to see that too. But I mean, they still have Nick Claxton's a guy they developed. Joe Harris they developed.
For now,
that's it.
Yeah, that's one guy that I wish. That's one guy that I wish was on the Knicks, Joe Harris.
Joe's great.
Yeah, he's a really, really good shooter, and he can get to the rim. Good shooter, good player. That's probably the only guy that I like on the Nets.
So you wouldn't want James Harden straight up for cash consideration?
No, you know what I remember James Harden as? It's like dribble, shoot from way out, take these, wild shots. I haven't seen him on the Nets, by the way. I haven't watched one game.
He has 7 triple doubles since he's come over. Here's a stat that I find fascinating. Kyrie Irving has taken more shots than James Harden every game they've played together.
That's no surprise.
But the whole MO on James is that he takes all these shots. He's been
a D'Antoni offense, man. He was just like run, shoot.
Such a good distributor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna get some MVP votes. He's been that good.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in Houston a little bit. Like he got PJ Tucker a new contract, right? He made Clint Capella a better player. So we knew he was capable of it, but he's just he was taking some ill-advised shots, ran 3 Hall of Famers out of town. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to say too, you mentioned the stat about triple doubles, but when Westbrook gets averages a triple double for a year, it's like whatever.
That's no big deal. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So
that's a good job by you calling out my hypocrisy. Nice job. I can't lie on that. You're right. No, but he's been all. I mean, I haven't watched every one of Russell's games, but I've watched every second of James's games. I call him James because we're friends now. He just
Jim
goes up. I mean, he's rebounding, he's hustling. The Nets need the team rebound, but yeah, I'm not a huge Westbrook guy. It's just something. I don't know. Alex loves him. I've never been on the Westbrook.
Yeah, I've always loved Westbrook because you know what it is. My favorite Western Conference team was always the Sonics, and then it kind of transitioned to the Thunder because of course when they went to OKC they had Durant and Westbrook and Jeff Green and whatever, and they just kept going. Right? Yeah, the Nets exactly. They had the Nets over and Harden.
10 years later.
That's a good point. And your boy Enes Kanter, and it's just because it just became like I was like, wow, this is like my squad, and then like I just loved West. I just fell in love with him just because his just mentality was nuts. Just like run. He would kill someone. You know what I mean? Like he fit in with the '90s Knicks, which is what I grew up watching. Yeah. So,
although and I'm with you, Alex. I enjoy watching OKC, and I think they're a great organization. Like, look at all the draft picks that they have, and we talking about assets before, right? But look at what they've done, and they're still competitive. That's the great thing about them is that they're always competitive. They draft well, and they're kind of like the money ball of the NBA, So they're a good team, but I remember seeing every year I would go out to LA and catch a game, and a couple of years in a row I was able to catch the Lakers in OKC. And watching Durant live, he's just a different animal. Like he doesn't control the ball, he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands, and he's scoring at will. And you look up and it's 30 points and it looks like he's done nothing. Whereas watching Westbrook, he's out of control. He's all over the place. He's throwing the ball all over the place. So I can see why Durant wanted to leave, but you just got to love Westbrook's tenacity. Like, and I understood what you were saying too, Alex, like he can change the culture of a team with his attitude, and he's not going to back down from anybody.
No, and that's the thing. That's the thing I wanted, and that's why I wanted him. But I only wanted him in a salary dump deal, and people somehow spun that into I want Westbrook at all costs, which was not what I wanted. But it was just that kind of guy that could change the foundation of the team, and I still think he could have helped. He's better than Elfrid Payton. I mean, people can say what they want, but that's true. And the Wizards, we were so quick as a society now with the 24/7 news cycle to write off a team and write off a person, write off a player. And look at the Wizards over the last month; they've been coming. They're on their way, and it's almost as if they needed some time together to get it together. So we'll see how that translates to the second half. It wasn't just a good run, but I think that they'll be fine, and I think they'll be in the playoff hunt, and that's why I think the East is going to be really crowded for the Knicks as we go on. But if they're not in the top 10, then that's a disaster.
I just got a little turned on. I had a thought. Of Russell Westbrook.
Wait, because the cat sat on your lap? Is that what it was?
No. It wasn't anything sexual from Leon. But I just got turned on thinking of Russell Westbrook defeating the Knicks in the play-in game. Oh, God, would that be great? Westbrook goes, puts a 40 burger. Puts a 40 burger on the Knicks
40,
in the
15,
Garden.
and 17 on at the Knicks.
Oh yeah, and like the Knicks play in the Lee. You might not know this. They play in the world's most famous arena, which I've been told 8,000 effing times in my life.
The loudest fans and the smartest fans.
Never heard that before.
Such the best. Right. So how great would it be if Russ goes into the Garden and just torments the Knicks, kicks them out, and then Alex can go on Twitter, which is have fun there and just tweet all these people. Told you we should have had Russell. This is my new dream. This is where I'm going.
I don't want to be right about that. That's not what I want to
defeat the Bulls in 4 in the first round. Thoughts on that idea?
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Number one, because we have a shutdown point guard in Alfred Payton. He's been fantastic on defense. He'll shut down.
Alfred Payton Harden. That's what we have right there.
Yeah. Once we put Frank Ntilikina on James Harden, it's over for the Nets. We're going to win the first game, and I heard Alex say this on the podcast last week, but we're going to win the first game, and who cares? Because you guys can win the rest, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we had our moment.
Oh, I know.
The crap out of
never hear the end of it. Like Nets beat the Knicks in 5, and let's say the Knicks took game 3, which is typically the game the other team would win, and it would be as if the Nets never even won the series.
That's right. It's like
I want game 1. I want game 1 because game 1 is
I
just
want
like
game
Vince.
1.
Yeah. And then the NBA, they spread out the schedule, so they have like 4 days off in between games or something stupid, And
it'll be like, do you guys think that the Nets can actually come back from this 1-game loss? And then it'll be all Knicks all the time.
Yeah. And then Durant will drop 70 in the next game.
Well, that's the big concern. If you're a Nets fan right now, is Durant out again? He's going to be reevaluated. Still,
we knew that.
So it's just
Knicks fans knew that because we're the smartest fans. We knew that would happen.
To tell you, man.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I was just saying the smartest fans definitely are the Knicks fan. I've never come around anybody that just knows their shit more than the Knicks. Like, bam.
Yeah, well, as you know, Mike, whenever you tweet about the Knicks, that's when you get the most responses to your tweets.
Exactly. That's true.
I
hope people know. I hope people know when I tweet about the Knicks, it's 100% a joke. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
No, some of us are sensitive. It's at least you get responses, right? It's not like your Selena Gomez tweets.
I was driving around doing Uber Eats the other day. You know how many hits she has? It never ends with Selena. And then so I brought her music into my headphones in the gym. She's got so many good songs. You get lost on a Selena Gomez YouTube trip. You really do. You don't agree?
I don't know any Selena Gomez songs, but
well, you're missing out. She's fantastic.
Yeah. I would expect a Nets fan to listen to Selena Gomez while working out in the gym.
Okay. Okay. Look at Selena Gomez's net worth. All right. You're not a Selena fan, Alex?
No, I am not.
She's great.
Alex listens to Mobb Deep. That's another thing that we have in common. We have our music taste.
Yeah.
Well, I like all genres. I just like.
You just prefer Selena Gomez.
I'm a fan of female pop, to be honest.
Gotcha. All right. So we're running out of time. So let's get to the jersey number trivia and then the poll question. So first we're on episode number 52. So we'll go with Knicks. This is I can do a kind of a crossover number. So number 52, he played both for the Knicks and the Nets.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, you got it. So that's
gotta be
Buck Williams.
Gotta be Buck.
Rounding out
the 52 with the Knicks though.
Yeah, says he wore 52. He was a good Knick. I mean, it was like one of those like surprising under the radar moves towards the end of the 90s.
Yeah,
that guy. But so we had Todd McKillen and John Rudd for the Knicks in 77 and 79. That was a weird one.
Wow.
We had one other notable
net
that was number 52. Played in 1990, 1 year for the Nets.
19, which year?
1990.
1990.
Center.
52. 1990. Center.
White.
1990. That was the year with DC. No Kenny yet because he came the year after.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley was 45, and that was
1990. We definitely played more years than that. Oh, that's crazy. So that was wrong. So he played from 89-90, where it looks like he was acquired mid-season until 92-93.
Wow.
Jesus. He had a weird hairdo.
He had a weird free throw. I'll put it that way.
Not Jared Dudley. Not Chris Dudley.
That's it. Chris Dudley, our boy
Chris
also.
Dudley? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because he played for the Knicks too. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. That was our boy.
Did you hear what Studley said about why the Knick fans are the best fans?
Why is that?
Yeah, no, this was not a joke. This is not like some setup. So why did Chris Dudley say Knick fans are so good? This is not a setup. I really saw this.
Doing knock jokes.
Yeah, right. No. He said because there's so much to do in New York that if you choose to go to a Knick game, you're really passionate about the Knicks and basketball because you chose that over all the other options that were available. I thought that was kind of interesting. I had never heard that angle before.
Yeah,
that is interesting. Yeah,
agree.
He's a smart guy. He went to Yale. I mean, he was a smart guy. Didn't he go to college with that crazy guy who got on the what do you call it? Oh man, the judges. What's the highest judge of the Supreme Court?
Oh,
the guy.
Well, yeah, he's friends with Brett Kavanaugh.
Yes, that crazy guy. He went to college with him or something. It was like a weird, crazy story. But so we had.
I didn't think we were
three other
there.
52s. We had George Johnson, 79-80, Buck Williams, and then last one, 1993, a net. You can guess this one, Mike. I know you can.
1993 net, 52. Yeah. 1993.
He played 77 games from started 20. He was a small forward. He's from New York.
I don't know. I'll know when you say it, but my brain.
Chucky Brown.
Chucky Brown, yes.
Chucky Brown played for the Nets.
Oh my God, that's a name I haven't heard of in years.
See, you're not a real Nets fan, man. That's what happens.
Yeah, not real.
You got to Brooklyn, you forgot about your roots. You know.
Yeah, that's right. We can do Nets stuff if you want. All right, Lee, you know the podcast, so you know what's coming next with the poll question. So let's hear it, Alex.
Okay, so we have Knicks fans. Realistically, how do you see the second half of the season going? Top 2 seed finish, top 6 play-in tournament finish, which is obviously anything above 10, or miss the play-in tournament altogether. What do you think won, and what do you think should have won?
You said a top 2 seed was an option?
Yeah, I just put it there, man.
Did people actually vote on that?
Yeah, some people voted for that one. Yeah,
Alex.
I probably voted for that.
Say him again real quick. I wasn't listening.
So we have
I'm
top
just kidding.
2, top 6 play-in tournament, or miss the play-in tournament altogether. Top 6, you think won?
6 to 10, whatever the 6 to 10 range is. The play-in tournament round.
Mm-hmm.
Top 6. We're optimistic. Top 6.
So play-in tournament finish won 51.2%. So that's a top 10 finish. Top 6 was 43.2. Miss it altogether is 4.2%. So that was probably all the Nets fans voting on that one. And then the top 2 finish was 1.4%.
Which was all the Knicks fans probably voting on that one.
That was my vote. My one vote.
At least one vote. Yeah, exactly. So 3 quick shout outs. We have Mookie. He's at it's Mookie, I guess. He goes, much more rational than I expected. The most knowledgeable fans, of course. I shouldn't have underestimated us, with a smiley emoji. Then we have that's Mike's favorite comment. Then we have Remus Lupin. He's at Tyrannosaurus Dan. I would guess anywhere from 7 to 10 seed, which would be a damn good season, in my opinion. Which, yes, it would be, but at this point, I want to finish in the top 6.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
No excuse, right? I mean, I know the Heat are coming and the Celtics are already above us and, whatever, but it's just, you can get there. Just play some good ball. Then we have one more. We have Vin Caravalli. So he's at VINKARAVALLY. He goes, Miami passes us, and then a lot is going to depend on the Raptors and the Pacers. The schedule isn't going to be easy going forward, which is true. The schedule god screwed us in the second half. That's for sure.
I think we'll play up to the level of competition, though. I think they'll be more competitive. The success in the first half will kind of propel them to some tough wins in the second half. But it really doesn't matter as long as Porzingis doesn't play and Dallas loses.
I'm glad we got one Porzingis comment in per episode. It's almost like standard now.
Yes.
Protocol.
Yeah. Sucks that they're the 8th seed now, though, man. They've won some games recently. So, I mean, they're going to fall off, though. The West is loaded.
Nets are 10-1 in their last 11. They've one loss. You know who it was against?
I know, against the
Porzingis.
That's when Kyrie decided to rest. He's like, I got to rest in this game. This is the one game I need to rest.
He was probably doing that to troll the Knicks, I bet.
Of course.
Oh, there it is. Well, Lee, we appreciate you coming on Bad Weather Fans. Had a lot of fun. Where can people find you on Twitter, where you're checking out Selena Gomez tweets from me?
YouTube page and everything. Yeah.
I'm at Leo Valentin on Twitter, and check out the YouTube Lee Valentin. I make fun of news related to the Knicks, Jets, and Yankees.
Awesome. It's a great page.
The Nets. Yo, you guys are doing a wonderful job, man. Continued success, and I really appreciate this, guys.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Lee, appreciate you. Thank you.
Good stuff, man.